Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Links with Friends show. Today is August 5th, and we're doing government and social stories for the start of your week.
August the 5th be with you?
That's close. I almost said January 5th, and I was like, that's not right. It's so cool today. I almost can believe that it's going to get cold again ever.
Remember the 5th of August?
Welcome some January weather.
Yeah.
But I won't welcome this, and this was inevitable. We all knew it was coming, and it's just hilarious because, as we will talk about tomorrow in the security section, more health data breaches. It's literally every week, if not every day, but the geniuses in charge have decided this is a great idea.
The TechSpot headline is Trump administration's digital health tracking system gives tech giants access to medical records. Yeah, you know who else has access to medical records? Your life insurance company. We'll have a story about that.
And the dark web.
Yeah.
So this is, it's exactly who you think it is. It's all the $1 million payment team from the inauguration. Amazon, Anthropic, Apple, Google, OpenAI.
Does anybody remember the stories, plural, that we've done about, all of these soldiers accidentally uploaded their run data and it shows where they are at all times, and like the security detail that shows where they are at all times.
That's what they're aiming for. Like, they want total surveillance. They want to know if you sniffle wrong.
I don't know why our intelligence community hasn't stepped into these folks to be like, you can't, like, we literally, this is the digital equivalent of asbestos. Like, we know it's bad. We know it's like lead in the water, lead in the air. It's like, we know it's bad. Why do we keep doing this?
Because it's not bad for them. It's good for them.
Yeah.
Just like asbestos and gasoline.
It feeds their
Leaded gasoline.
Their data requirements, right? So they say it's going to be optional. I don't know how long that's going to hold out. There's probably going to be, like, your insurance company at a minimum is probably going to give you a discount.
Yeah.
Which is actually going to be a tax for not doing it.
Yeah, remember the optional digital ID stuff where it's just like, we didn't build a way that if you don't have a digital footprint, whatever.
Yeah, which we see how that's going. We'll talk about that in the other country news. But first, we'll talk about this, which has already happened once, and it was like, a huge catastrophe, and I was like, all right. Well, wait, was it 90 days? Well, it's been 90 days.
The headline is Trump suspends trade loophole for cheap online retailers globally. This is if you just go online and order something, you're not charged import duty. Well,
If it's small.
Yeah,
so it was $800. Temu, all of those places.
Shine or Sheen, however you pronounce that.
And a lot of stuff on Amazon, honestly. They're going to have to import it and warehouse it here rather than shipping it directly, which of course is going to mean a lot less options for the people. Maybe it'll be good for manufacturing locally, but not for a while.
I like the idea of deglobalization. I don't like the idea that we literally don't already have robotic factories that are fully automated, ready to go, because it seems like this will just crush people's ability to do or buy anything.
It is true that, or you think like 80% of that stuff is so unnecessary, like we don't need it. But you get into personal freedom there. Who gets to make that decision? I don't think that it should be whoever's making it right now. And data centers, we need them, and where are we going to put them? Because a lot of people either got in that not in my backyard business because data centers are not fun to live next to, but...
And may potentially poison your water, like that one story.
Oh, yeah, definitely going to raise your electricity prices, right?
Yeah.
So what do? Well, we'll just use some federal land.
U.S. Department of Energy taps federal sites to fast-track AI data centers and energy build-outs, including Paducah, which is here, and
Western Kentucky.
the Idaho National Lab, and Oak Ridge, which is also not very far away. Oh, and Savannah, the Savannah River site. So the Oak Ridge Reservation, that sounds like we're taking land from people again.
Also, a nuclear plant, previous nuclear plant, which makes a lot of people think that, is there going to be a nuclear plant at all these locations eventually to feed those data centers?
Well, Paducah is really ramping up nuclear enrichment. That's what that whole site is about since like the 1950s. So their GE is already broken ground. Like, that's a big deal.
Considering, like, Tornado Alley is slowly migrating into Western Kentucky, it seems like...
Those buildings will be built to withstand any tornado.
I'm sure.
Yeah. The surrounding communities. Maybe
Not at all. Not even a little.
And crypto, gosh, do you remember? I certainly remember when crypto was only for fraud. Literally, that was the only purpose, according to the powers that be.
According to the SEC.
Yeah.
The SEC there's some memos. We have the receipts, SEC.
Now we have new memos.
SEC debuts Project Crypto to bring U.S. financial markets on the chain. I read this, and like you dig into the GameStop thing, and you dig into shorts, and you dig into what Wall Street is up to. The SEC, I can't, just as a rando, it seems like it's rigged. And so I can't imagine putting things on the chain for better transparency, like what's happening with, the GameStop shorts and all that kind of stuff, that they have any interest in doing that, because it will lay even more bare the type of fraud and collusion and shenanigans that are going on.
I think this is going to be more like ETFs.
Yeah.
It's going to be managed. They'll hold the shares. You'll hold the tokens. And there'll be, theoretically, a path to redemption. But like many ETFs, and certainly the futures, there'll be all sorts of shenanigans so that you have counterparty risk where 5 people own the same token. And if it hits the fan, where are you the first one in line? Probably not.
I was thinking that the chain would be used as like a prop in a fraud. It's like, look, here is your transaction ID. That's you on the chain. But 8 people have that transaction ID in order to
Well, it could be a different ID on the chain just fine, but the underlying asset has been sold multiple times.
Yeah.
Or they can lease them. That's the thing that you're allowed to do. You're allowed to lease some things, sell it, and then it exists more than once. It's all fake. So you're right. It's all fake.
We did a sub lease. That's legal. It's like...
It is. It's legal.
Can't do that on apartments.
You can do that, but God help you if you download a Pixar movie, because the full brunt of the powers that be will come down on you.
U.S. senators introduce new pirate site blocking bill, Blockbeard. This, combined with you've got to identify yourself online by uploading a driver's license, is everything needed to close the loop to prevent anybody from doing anything online.
So the Beard version doesn't have DNS restrictions in the language, but the other one, which I think is in the Senate, does. And they will probably end up marrying the two. And the DNS restrictions will probably get in there.
Well, this one does say that ISPs are responsible for doing the blocking, and DNS is the most likely mechanism. But leaving it open like that could also pave the way to blocking VPNs, as we'll talk about is happening in the UK.
This is basically Australia. Australia already did this, so they know how it works. Australia's the test ground, as usual. And we found out this week that these mergers and acquisitions, how the regulators are supposed to be looking at it and coming up with what's in the best interest of the consumer. Well, they didn't do that. And the reason they didn't do that is because they got a tap on the shoulder from the intelligence community.
U.S. intelligence intervened with the DOJ to push the HP Enterprise and Juniper merger. U.S. intelligence basically said that there's not enough smart people to manage these things securely, and the only hope at having something reasonably secure is HP Enterprise and Juniper. But the memo actually said this probably would hurt in terms of competition and pricing and that sort of thing, because there's not enough smart people working on properly securing these things.
And the specter of China was brought up, and they're like, hey, if we don't have one powerhouse dealing with this, they might go to China. We can't have that. Listen, somebody's going to spy on these people, and it's going to be us. That's basically what they said.
Stay out of my territory.
You really need to keep that article in mind as you read the next article as well, because it's sinister. It's dark. It's dark even for our usual darkness.
And this is another one where someone along the way actually put in writing, this is going to be bad for the consumer. And they're right.
DOJ approves T-Mobile's latest merger despite admitting that it's terrible for consumers and competition. There's an aspect of this, like everything in this article, yes, fine. But there's an aspect of this that this article misses, which is related to the last article. T-Mobile has very consistently failed to execute on cybersecurity against criminals, let alone nation states. The nation states are already in there. T-Mobile's posture here is basically, you can be in our network doing whatever the heck you want as long as you don't disrupt business. And you better believe that there's a lot of stuff in there. And the DOJ, for the intelligence community, what they want is hey, this is a little bit of a problem. The problem is that we also have legally mandated backdoors in all of this stuff, including the HP Enterprise and Juniper gear. Remember the OPM hack that I'm always talking about? That was a shot across the bow from other intelligence communities outside the United States. It's like, we know that you put a backdoor in the equipment that is a deeper and more low level and more hidden than the backdoor that's in the telecom type equipment in T-Mobile. Like, connect the dots. It's really, and it sounds like paranoid insanity, but no more than the next story.
Also, remember the T-Mobile lifetime subscriptions?
Gone.
And then the merger happened, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, we're just not going to honor that. Yeah, you have to have this new plan." And people were like, "Lifetime," and they're like, "Oh, you thought it meant your lifetime?
No,
that's not."
It was the lifetime price lock thing. It's like, you'll always have this reasonable price, and it's like, oh, we don't have to do that because there's no competition.
But if I remember correctly, that was a requirement of their previous merger.
It
right?
was, yeah. It's really weird.
Who can keep track of it all? Just let them do whatever they want.
I'd also like to point out that none of this is capitalism. Capitalism would, like, people aren't dumb. They're kind of dumb, but they're not that dumb. And they can vote with their wallets, but you literally can't vote with your wallet because of this level of collusion.
Well, people aren't dumb. Some people, and there's that phrase about you can't fool all the people all of the time. And I, definitely maybe half or so have not been fooled on this topic, but it doesn't really matter. But hey, let's continue to cover it.
CBS News investigation of the Jeff Epstein jail video reveals new discrepancies. Doesn't necessarily have a different conclusion, but it sure seems like the video was doctored in strange ways unnecessarily.
I feel like that conclusion thing was probably bolted on at the end because they were like, we can't release this as is.
Yeah.
It's too hot. Also, I didn't realize that this is not even the floor that he was on. Did you guys realize that?
Yeah,
These doors here?
Yeah.
Like, he's not in one of those rooms.
This is quote unquote the only working camera or whatever.
Yeah. And they exposed that there was an orange flash going up the stairs that would have gone to his room. Orange being the color that they wear in this facility. And it was just like, oh, no, that was probably an employee.
I also really like the unmonitored phone call. And it's like, you remember how the plumber, the player 2 plumber guy, remember how his calls with his lawyer were forwarded to the prosecutor because there are no unmonitored calls, and yet what is going on?
The best thing about that is it was an unmonitored call to his girlfriend. As James Brown said, it's a man's world. There's a girl out there who's like, I think I can change him. I think I can fix him. I'm willing to take the risks. And Microsoft, a huge embarrassment for them. Of course, Microsoft trying to save money any way they can, and outsourcing is one way to do that. But there are some things that maybe you shouldn't outsource.
Microsoft used China-based support for multiple U.S. agencies, potentially exposing sensitive data. Yes, the Office 365 help desk can, if you can get to it. It doesn't it's a global economy. That global help desk is accessible anywhere. Was that wrong? Should we not have done that?
They admitted that it might have been. They say they're not going to do it again.
Oh.
And the robots are out there driving, and they're doing an okay job, I guess. But they do a lot of dumb stuff. And when they do dumb stuff, they generally just stop, right? They're designed with that safety in mind.
Except Tesla.
Well,
there was actually, did you see a banner on one of the sites that was like,
we got to remember to
Tesla,
bring that up
yeah.
for tomorrow's. But just stopping is not acceptable. Like, you can't just impede traffic like that. You will get a ticket, but only if you're a human.
Different rules for humans and robots. APD says the court system cannot process citations for Waymo.
Did you notice too that this article has an error in the very first sentence?
Yeah.
Atlanta's biggest city.
Oh,
I was like,
You think this was Vibe written?
or was it Vibe written, or was that an actual human error that there's no editor because they fired everybody?
Michael Dudina.
Oops.
So yeah, they're saying it's a bureaucracy. We need to enter data in here in a certain way. There are required fields on this form, and I don't have a name. Who do I put in?
Can you just put the CEO's name? Waymo?
James Waymo.
I really like the fact that this new exciting technology is given a really wide berth in terms of regulation. It's like, oh, we'll tolerate this. But on the other hand, it's like, Waymo's had kind of a long time to get this right.
No, in terms of safety, no, you cannot have a wide tolerance because it's like, oh, progress at any cost, including that of human lives. Like, no, someone has to be held accountable.
There are videos when like the Model T was coming out and people were buying the Model T in cities that were just used to horses. Like,
yeah,
and it's wild. It's absolutely wild because the people were driving super erratically, and it's like we don't know what to do, and it's insane because it's like that again, but with a population density 1,000 times higher.
Have you read The Great Gatsby?
yeah, exactly. It's like that.
If you're following along in the one tab, I somehow put a TikTok story in here. And I've moved it. Skip ahead. We're going on to the European section instead, and let's talk about the AI code of practice, which pretty much universally all of the big AI companies have said, yeah, we don't really care. We're not doing it. But one stands out.
Google confirms that it will sign the EU AI code of practice. And I read this and I was really expecting the EU to have a lot of onerous requirements in there, but it's really not. It's like we're not going to use like biometric or AI to try to identify literally every moving thing. And we're going to try not to mine your personal data for the following egregious reasons. Presumably, the less egregious reasons are okay.
Yeah, say Google's just they already have your data. They don't need it anymore.
Yeah. So,
but
Zuckerberg's like, no,
very much said he would not do it. He's very opposed to it. So, and the other people haven't signed it. So we got to assume that they're feeling at least somewhere in the middle. And the EU has their own kind of age verification. The UK has the most draconian, I guess. Now Australia. But don't forget that the EU is working on this as well. And they have this to say about maintaining more monopoly.
The EU age verification app is set to ban Android apps that are not licensed by Google. That means like if you try to sideload an app on your phone, the EU age verification app is not going to permit that, I guess.
Which is weird.
That is weird.
Because we're doing this whole like epic Apple lawsuit.
Yeah.
And this just don't license it. You don't have to worry about that anymore.
I'm trying to imagine, the computing climate that built, like the business powerhouse of the last 15 or 20 years, dealing with this kind of chicanery. It's like, oh, I would like to run this application. You got a license for that? And it's like, I just want to run an application on my computer. Like, why?
Oh, I'm going to need a picture.
Yeah.
Take a video selfie. The blood sampler has been delivered to your house through the mail. Please use it. And the UK government is getting a lot of feedback, as you might imagine, because people, you said earlier, like people aren't stupid. They might not be stupid, but they're not very informed, generally.
Right.
And this blindsided a lot of people, which maybe if you're watching this, you're like, well, how do you not know something like this is coming? A lot of people didn't, and they were angry, and it doesn't matter.
UK government responds after 350,000 demand the Online Safety Act is repealed. And also, I got to say, I'm really here for all the people in the UK that are super against this, because there's a couple websites where they've compiled video of the politicians saying, no, you definitely are not going to have to upload your photo ID. You're definitely not going to have to do video. There's not going to be any security or privacy risk. There are these third-party companies that are going to verify your data, and you're not going to have to do ABC, XYZ. And then from one of these things, there was a recent one from this 350,000 signature thing. And it's like, are you going to do this? And it's like, you literally said you wouldn't have to do this. And they were like holding up a video of the person saying the opposite of the thing that they were saying now from 6 months ago. Just like, I have the receipts that you're lying through your teeth. And it's like, yes, that is exactly what is required.
If that's all we had to do to get political change, we'd live in a utopia. Well, that's not what you have to do. I don't know what you have to do. We've never discovered it yet because we don't get our way. But people will work around it, and they began to almost immediately by flooding into VPNs, which, of course, triggered more draconian response.
And the Register's headline says, banning VPNs to protect the kids, good luck with that. So the UK Online Safety Act, a thing that happened as a result of that is VPN searches went through the roof. And so now people are trying to use VPNs and setting their endpoints to other places in Europe. And so politicians have responded to that as like, oh no, we want to know who you are online at all times, which I think that's the lie here, right? It's like we want to protect
You
the
said
children.
the quiet part out loud
Yeah,
at this point.
it's like this is not about the children at all. This is about identifying, people online so that you can silence them or do more nefarious things.
There's too much freedom of expression going on social media. They're pointing out our inconsistencies and contradictions. They're holding up phones.
I was so embarrassed because somebody played back a video of me saying something the opposite of what I'm saying now. They should be put in jail. It's
Why should I get in trouble for a crime somebody else noticed?
And speaking of opposites, this is really the MO for Trump. You go, you have a big trade meeting, you come back, you announce that you got everything that you wanted, you crushed them, and then they immediately press release to something that contradicts it.
Trump claims Europe won't make big tech pay ISPs. The EU says that it still might.
But their response, it felt a little bit like they knew that they won't, but they had to save face a little bit. It was like, we have sovereignty. You can't just make us. But remember what he did with Apple last week. So, we'll see. And speaking of sovereignty, data sovereignty is at odds here. And does it exist?
Microsoft admits it cannot guarantee, quote unquote, data sovereignty. So, this is fun. It's like, well, listen, if your French citizens upload data to our cloud, we can't guarantee that it's going to stay in France. It might not. There might be a copy that stays in France, but then there might be another copy to go somewhere else. This isn't terribly unreasonable given the interconnectedness of all of Microsoft's stuff. But at the same time, I think their business unit, the ad unit, would probably exploit the confusion of that in order to just do whatever they want to monetize it.
But the big thing here wasn't we might accidentally send it somewhere. They asked them explicitly, if American intelligence demands this of you, if the government says you have to give it to them, will you? And they had to admit, yes, we will. So,
because the data exists in not just France.
And so we cannot tell you what you want to hear. And China, hilariously, has completely turned the tables on the old who's surveilling who game.
China summons Nvidia over potential security concerns in H20 chips. Beijing warns of tracking tech and backdoor risks in Nvidia chips. This is a really good write-up by TechSpot. But also, as you read it, consider that if you're the authorities in China and you're looking at how China has come together to produce chips for AI, China's made an incredible amount of progress in a very short time, and they really do have some of the best AI researchers on planet Earth. If you're the authorities, you're looking at this as like, yeah, don't slow down now, Chinese companies, keep going. So even if this is true or not true, it doesn't matter. Doing this helps Chinese industry.
And they got the open source models, and they're better than anything anybody else is giving us locally. And they're very proud of that. That's now like a nationalist thing for them. Like, yeah, we have the open source AI. They're running with it. And they don't want anybody getting it confused with the American stuff.
Generative AI services pulled from Apple App Store in China ahead of new regulations.
So some of these were reselling tokens for the big names like OpenAI and Anthropic and all that. And so they say, no, none of that. You will only DeepSeek in China.
What's kind of interesting about this, though, is that like with Meta's models, like you can download and run this locally, but I assume that in China it's a little different economically and in terms of access to technology. I guess most people don't have enough. Like you don't have a machine that has 128 gigabytes of memory that you could run one of these on.
Well, China might be leading the world in open source AI, but they are no longer leading the world by being the world's factory.
India overtakes China in smartphone exports to the U.S. as manufacturing jumps 240%, a report has shown.
That's not the whole story, though, because look at Vietnam.
I say Vietnam has kind of been a big one in industry.
Yeah, Vietnam has eaten up another almost 50%. So little China there, as you can see, big changes. Now, we knew that was coming because all these companies, the whole Taiwan thing and the chip shortage, and they're like, hey, wait a minute. We might be, too many eggs in this basket.
I think that it's also underreported how much of this is being driven by cultural shifts inside China. Like it's like I want to work at a factory in China, or I could work at the Chinese equivalent of Starbucks. It's like people are probably going to choose to do like the Starbucks thing. And the fact that the industry has been there so long has been good for their economy. There's a lot of money in their economy. You don't necessarily have to work a factory job to survive.
What you're saying is that there's more middle class people there, and the big companies need to exploit a poorer labor market.
I really worry that, like, if we did that, like if we did a study on that the American people would probably, like, it would be torches and pitchforks time. Because the American middle class has been robbed or whatever by the American upper class.
Also, tariffs.
Yeah.
Like, China got hit with massive, massive tariffs. And we shut down the whole, like, port of origin faking stuff. So Vietnam had to start making the phones instead of just taking a cut for shipping through there. I'm sure that had a lot to do with it.
Vietnam's also, I mean, like, not related to smartphone stuff, but, like, they've done a lot of, like, garment manufacturing for a long time. They've really been rising in that space as well.
I mean, they definitely got manufacturing know-how. Unlike us.
Mexico also ramping, which is interesting.
And Australia is doing the social media ban, kind of like the UK. And there was some question, is YouTube social media or is it not? We have an answer.
Australia widens teen social media ban to YouTube and scraps the exemption. Yeah, it's like if you're under 16, you got to verify your age. There's actually we've got several stories about this. There's a lot of fun posts on Reddit. I think there might be a couple posts even on our forum about YouTube being like, okay, I created my YouTube account 15 years ago and you want me to verify my age, really?
You obviously bought that account with your mom's credit card.
Your parents prepped it for you.
It's like, but also, what is this saying about me? Am I a man-child? I don't know. It's giving me existential dread.
Yeah, because they base it on what you're watching.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not, I've never gotten the age verification pop-up on mine. It's like, you watch a lot of gardening and pond videos. You're old.
Well, it's also funny, too, that like your AdSense profile, it's like my AdSense profile thinks that I'm a geriatric retiree that's worried about Medicare. And then I get the pop-up from YouTube that's like, verify your age. One of these things is not like the other.
Well, it's a bad time for the Australians. We feel for you because you really do get the boot hard on the neck. And unfortunately, you do not have any reason to have more national pride where you could have today.
First Australian-made rocket crashes after 14 seconds of flight in a failed attempt to reach orbit.
The gravity's stronger down there. They're upside down.
Now, to be fair, almost everybody fails their first time when it comes to rocketry. I mean, you are standing on the shoulders of giants, though.
Think about how much data they got from the failure versus success. That makes the second try to be that much more likely. And
this might be coming from a source that you wouldn't consider to be very reliable, but I think this is some pretty solid advice for everybody.
The Moscow Times headline is Russians should get ready for more internet blackouts and a switch to cash, Lawmaker says. Yeah. Yeah, it's not good when every little transaction is tracked. See also the surveillance state that is being constructed around every single one of us.
I always mean to like use cash more often, but it's just so convenient to use the card.
Plus, you get the cash back on the card. Yeah, it's tough.
I keep extra cash on hand just for like if the card readers are down.
She's joking. She doesn't.
I don't do that. It's also, where all my stuff sank in a boat. And,
Your precious metals.
Yeah.
And your guns. Well, Russia, you should hold cash, but one thing you should not do is wear any Black Sabbath t-shirts. If you're like, if you're a big Ozzy fan, you wanted to celebrate that, no.
How are you going to mourn Ozzy? Fans of heavy metal can face jail in Russia as Putin bans quote-unquote Satanists. There will be no mourning of Ozzy here.
They point out that Putin is ex-KGB from the Soviet Union, which was, as a requirement and enforced by him, totally atheist. You had to be.
Well, Satanist implies that you do have a religion, right?
Now he's super Christian. He saw the light. So yeah, it doesn't really tell you exactly what you're not allowed to do. It's very vaguely worded. But they also point out that some of the people he released from prison to go fight in the war were like ritual murderers.
Oh.
I guess that's an effective soldier, though. And Mark Zuckerberg had they had their earnings. We'll talk about that in the social section. But, this is the social section. We'll talk about that later. But he had to give a speech and try to explain to us how AI is not going to destroy our lives, but rather make it a perfect world.
Mark Zuckerberg tries to explain personal superintelligence as Meta blows past its Q2 forecast and hits 3.48 billion daily users. So this article is about how badly that went. And it went so badly that he also wrote a letter. And the letter is definitely required reading for this program. You should go read that and understand that this is how this person sees the world.
I think we link it in one of the other episodes.
Well, I cut it out
Oh, did
because
you?
we had this one. I mean,
Okay.
there's no reason to duplicate it, but it's on the Meta website. It's easy to find. So basically, from a high level, he's basically saying, don't think of it as robots taking over the world and pushing you out. Think about your personal robot giving you the ability to continue to be part of capitalism, right? Like your conduit.
How do I afford the robot, sir?
He didn't cover that part.
Did you pick up undertones that was also kind of like a warning shot to other billionaires? Like, get in line or you're not going to be here for this. Like a little bit of a. So I thought there were undertones there because like if I was trying to think of it as like if I'm like a Rupert Murdoch type person and I'm reading this, I'm thinking that yes, if this comes to pass and Meta has superintelligence and people that use Facebook have this super intelligent robot that they can do their bidding, then unless you're part of the Zuckerverse, you're not going to have any money because Zuckerverse's AI robot is going to find the lowest margin deal on Amazon, or it's going to find the lowest margin deal on Whole Foods and, help you with your grocery and find the cheapest car and maybe not even do a B2B. Like maybe it's going to be like Facebook Marketplace where the AI says, oh, I found a really good deal 2 towns over on this car or this thing that you were looking for or whatever. And if you're participating in the Zuckerverse, we'll make sure that everything is really good for you. But if you're not, then, get out.
I laugh at the idea of that because they fill their stuff with so many ads that there's no way it's going to return good results. So
Well,
you've already proven you can't do this, sir.
if it's a personal superintelligence and Meta stands to make a few dollars off of every single transaction there, it would be in his best interest to do that against anybody else that's not in the Zuckerverse.
But what if he made double the money by charging the customer and also charging people to place ads inside of what the customer sees? He needs more money.
That's Amazon's strategy.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Amazon's strategy later, but
That's a lot of streaming services. He's doing the same thing.
I think he's also gone like in full bet the company mode because like the compensation packages for the AI people that he's hiring are in like the $100 million range, predicated on developing general artificial intelligence and super intelligence after that. And if he does that, he's right. Like the money isn't going to matter if they develop that. Like
That's a big if. Also, if the metaverse had really blown up, then yeah, he'd be more rich now.
it's gonna. I mean, if he does what he thinks he's going to do in the letter, it is going to be the U.S. Steel of our age, but with the worst possible connotations of that, including the whole like let's take over the government. Like that's a deep and black rabbit hole from the turn of the 20th century.
Well, the metaverse was a massive failure, but he will not accept it. He continues to double down, and he's actually saying that if you're not part of it, you're going to have a bad time.
Zuckerberg says people without AI glasses in the future will be disadvantaged. I mean,
if you rearrange that sentence, yeah, disadvantaged people will not have AR glasses. That will be true for sure.
We had the tsunami warning this week after the big volcano went up in Russia. And Hawaii was under risk, and I was like, I hope it doesn't hit anyone, the lower classes. But it would be great if it just took out his compound.
But he's got so much infrastructure, he would easily survive that.
Yeah.
He would be safely underground.
Underground in a tsunami?
Yeah, you can seal it off. It wouldn't have to be flooded.
You go up.
Well, his little island probably doesn't have enough
Yeah.
height. I don't know. No, actually it does, right? Because he bought everything from the coast to the mountains. And he built tunnels.
Well, I have dark crystal thoughts about all that, but
we've got a story about that. It's fascinating.
I'm a little jealous of it, to be honest. I mean, how cool.
it's cool. But yeah, that should be something that should be shared and not.
Did you guys watch the movie Ex Machina?
Yes.
And so it like the description of the Hawaiian compound really is a lot like the compound in Ex Machina.
That's a real place. I think it's in Norway. I looked it up. It's in an architect magazine. You can actually see more like pictures of it from different angles.
Fascinating.
Well, Meta, he's got his ideas, but he is doing exactly what everybody else is doing when it comes to AI, which is taking the training data any place he can get it. And this is an interesting one that they consider this valuable enough for the AI training data to commit these crimes to get it. Which, what are you teaching it here?
I think I figured out what this is, but the Ars Technica headline is Meta pirated and seeded porn for years to train AI, the lawsuit says. I think the book publishers need to jump on this really quickly, because if you dig into this, and toward the end of the article, they sort of admit they think that this is probably why they're using porn to get the seed ratios so that they could get other stuff. They didn't want to seed. It almost seems deliberate, and if it's true, it's diabolical, because they wanted to seed this type of material because it was quote unquote lower risk than the other stuff that they really actually wanted, which was like the book repositories and everything else. So they didn't want to seed and redistribute the giant book library. Instead, they wanted porn because that is a lower risk for copyright violation from their perspective, which is, if true, like that should demonstrate intent for the book publishers and is insane. Just absolutely a level of evil and diabolical that's crazy.
But the porn makers did notice, and they are suing, and they have pretty good records that, yeah, they seeded a lot of it.
I would also, you remember Aaron Schwartz? Like, he downloaded 70 gigabytes of journals and was harassed by the prosecutor into self-ending.
Minecraft server.
Deleting
his Minecraft server.
Deleting his Minecraft server. Yeah. And so...
I just want to say the real word now. Just say the real word.
But the prosecutor was like gung-ho to go after this. But here we have insanely egregious, with mountains of evidence, with entirely different and demonstrably horrible motives. Like, how are we not rioting in the streets?
That's Dark Wendell.
Well, if you do think that it's time for that and you want to eat the rich, well, you're going to need a couple of things.
You'll have to find them.
You have to find them. You're going to have to perform an aquatic landing.
Is that the Hunger Games part of our
You're going to have to storm a beach.
existence?
You're going to have to infiltrate tunnels. You're going to have to be going up mountains for your charge. It's going to be tough.
The headline is Legal Battles or a million strong signature campaign could not stop Mark Zuckerberg from slowly buying a mind-boggling 2,300 acres on Hawaii's Kauai. Is that how you say that?
Kauai, I think so, yeah.
Island, building tunnels, tree houses, and a doomsday bunker. It's the Ex Machina compound. I mean,
There are
not
no
really.
pictures in this article, are there? It's
Sort of
tragic.
Well, they have. He's not giving you pictures, but they got those early satellite photos.
Yeah.
There's one of them.
I have been to Hawaii one time, and like after going there, I get it. It's very nice there.
There's the plots that he has. And here was the bunker that everybody discovered on Google Earth. Like, why is that so deep? Because he knows that someday people are going to figure this out. And you saw us dancing around some words there. Do we still have to? I kind of think we still do.
We do, yeah.
I'm a little afraid.
Yeah, I don't really buy this.
YouTube loosens profanity rules for monetized videos. This mostly doesn't apply to people like us. This would be like for Mr. Beast or people that have like 10 million subscribers. It doesn't. They forget about these sort of rule changes for folks like us. So
The little channels.
it doesn't matter. Like we.
I mean, I'd like to be able to speak freely without worrying about, oh no, we're going to get demonetized, or they're going to not put us in the algorithm, or not show our videos to subscribers.
I would like to also speak freely, but also I would like for us to always be the relentlessly reasonable that I think that we are forever. And it's just like if we're ever not relentlessly reasonable, something has gone wrong.
They claim that, yeah, we put that in place to protect the advertisers, but now the ad placement is so good, it's so perfect, that we don't even care anymore. So we'll just put ads on your videos that are more akin to profanity, and it's fine. But again, I don't believe it. And if you don't believe things on social media, that's a good starting point. And some places will give you the community notes, which is often going to contradict, it's just like one person's opinion versus another person's opinion. Facts don't matter. And now they won't matter on TikTok.
TikTok community notes era starts today. It's footnotes, but it's only in the U.S. for now. I think this is part of the ongoing TikTok rewrite that's happening in case of the sale. I think this is part of that.
Oh, maybe.
And here's the one that I accidentally sorted incorrectly. This is a TikTok story, and it's kind of points out you're not allowed to just even be creative as a kid. You're not allowed to say, "Oh, let's do something ridiculous and fun." Yeah, maybe it's in poor taste. Maybe the timing was weird.
I don't know if fun's the right word, but yeah.
Oh, you didn't get up to stuff like this when you were? I did.
Making videos about school shooters?
Well, that wasn't really that big a thing back then. Like it wasn't as much of a zeitgeist. But listen, these were 11-year-old cheerleaders.
Yeah, yeah.
Middle school cheerleaders make a TikTok video portraying a school shooting, and they were charged with a crime.
I wouldn't have charged them with a crime. They would have had a stern talking to, though.
But they didn't spread this. I don't think that much, right? It was private, right? And somehow it got out. And this was after the fact. So they weren't trying to show people this, I don't think. They were just, just being dumb. Just being dumb kids. They had to wait for practice for whatever reason. They had some phones. Now this begs the question of what if they would have done an AI created video that depicted the same thing? Is that okay? How is that not freedom of speech?
They would have been charged, but the AI would have not been.
I don't think it's a good idea to charge them with a crime, but they definitely
stern talking to is appropriate.
Something went wrong there.
Yeah.
Do you remember what the actual charge was?
No.
It was something like disturbing the peace or something stupid
Disorderly
like that.
conduct.
Yeah.
That's such a ridiculous law. If it's anything
Maybe
you want it to fit.
This society makes me disordered, so.
What? I mean, weren't we just talking about becoming a little disorderly because our tech kings are dominating us?
Our not the governor, what's the word? Generals, our tech generals now.
Oh, yeah. And also, the birth of the country. It was disorderly.
Anyway.
We'll have lots of fun business stories tomorrow that dovetail with the government and social stories from today.
Yay!
Thanks for hanging out. Start at Level1.com.
Yippee! Bye!